Hey, fatty! Tonight we're going to talk about calories in, calories out. Because that's the only thing that matters, you fat pigs. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference what you eat when you're in a state of weight loss. Okay, that makes a difference when you're in a state of weight loss. For example, would it be healthy to give a woman that weighs 70 pounds a cheeseburger? Okay, would it be healthier to give a woman that weighs 70 measly pounds that's morbidly underweight a cheeseburger versus broccoli or even fruit? Obviously, the cheeseburger's healthier. Okay, because she needs to go up in weight. As long as she's way underweight, nothing's going to be unhealthy as far as big calorie counts go. The same goes for if you're a fat ass. The bad blood sugars and all the nonsense that comes with being a fat pig, that's the problem. Okay, it's when you're in a surplus on the food. Okay, you could be eating complete what you would think is junk. And as long as your weight is going down, your health markers will be perfect. You could be eating the same exact junk, the same food choices. Now you're eating an extra 1,000 calories to the point where your weight's going up. Now that food is shit. Okay, the state of your body's weight swing matters. Are you in a state of weight loss or in a state of weight gain? That's going to make all the difference. Okay, as long as you're giving your body less food, less calories than you're burning on the day, you're going to be in a state of weight loss. In a state of weight loss. That's why if you know your maintenance, which most of you do not, you need to figure out your maintenance calorie count. Okay, if you know your maintenance, for example, let's use me. I would cut body fat on 3 double quarter pounder cheeseburgers. So I'm in a state of weight loss when I'm eating 3 double quarter pounder cheeseburgers. My blood markers would be perfect. 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 Because I'm in a state of weight loss. I'm running a deficit. Because I know my maintenance. I know that 3 of those burgers is going to make me lose weight. Lose body fat. Now, if I add a burger in to where I'm at 4 of them and my weight starts creeping up, now I'm in a state of weight gain. Now, things like blood sugar numbers, liver markers, you're gaining weight, you're getting fat, is going to go to shit. Because I'm gaining weight. That's the only thing that matters is the calories. Are you gaining weight or losing weight? Now, obviously, there's caveats. People need to focus more on what the calories out, how that changes. The calories in, no matter what food you eat, is going to get the same weight gain or weight loss result. Okay? But the calories out could change because, for example, maybe you have more energy eating a certain macro split. Maybe you have more energy on certain foods. So then your calories out would go up because you just simply do more activity. And your non-exercise activity would go up. Okay, you'd be fidgeting more. You'd be just moving more. Okay, that's a main caveat. As far as what you're putting in your body, it doesn't mean shit. Okay, also eating frequency might affect that. For example, if you're fasting all day and you're not using stimulants, your calories out might be a lot lower if you, say, ate 1 meal at night that was, let's just say, 2,000 calories versus 2 meals that day that were 1,000, one for breakfast, one for dinner, because that 1,000 calories at breakfast maybe gave you way more energy and you used it, so you actually got to do something. Okay, you fat pigs can eat a pile of food and have crazy energy, but if you still just sit on the couch and watch TV and piss around on the internet, you're still just going to get fat. Certain things are going to make you want to expend more calories. Okay, that's going to matter a lot. Okay, certain macros might make you expend more calories. For example, maybe you get up in the morning and you have 500 calories of pure carbohydrate versus 500 calories of maybe something that's heavier, like maybe fatty meat and some carb, or just a burger from McDonald's or some ice cream. If you end up having more energy on the 500 calories of clean carbs versus the dirtier meal, even though the calories are the same, it's going to give you the same result as far as what you would burn for fat if you sat on the couch. But in this case, if you actually use the energy, you're going to have more energy, for example, in that cleaner food. So your calories out goes up. But in the grand scheme of things, if you are trying to track calories at the start, you just need to hit the number. Okay, the most important part is just hitting the calorie count and learning your maintenance. If the foods are easy to count, it's going to help. Okay, don't eat anything that you can't count. Okay, how many calories are you ingesting on a long fast? 3-day fast on snake juice. How many calories are you ingesting? 0. Calories in is 0. Of course you're going to be burning body fat. But obviously your output's going to be way lower. You're not going to have any energy. So the calories out wouldn't be that great because you're eating 0 calories in. But the 0 calories in trumps that because it's 0 calories in. You're going to be burning pure body fat. Even though maybe your metabolism takes a little bit of a dive. You're still burning pure body fat. Okay, those are the main caveats. It's just, okay, does this eating style give me more energy through the day? Okay, if you got more energy and feel better, fine. But obviously, if you want to fast all day and have a black coffee at breakfast, and that gives you plenty of energy to do your shit, and then you eat the meal at night, fine. Whatever's getting the weight off. But as far as the calories go, if you sat on the couch all day, so you're only burning your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, it wouldn't make a damn bit of difference what you ate. You're going to get the same exact result. Exact same. It's only when you actually get some incentive to go burn the food that you're going to really notice what meals might give you more energy and the calories out will go up. Calories out going up is the same damn thing as calories in going down. Okay, it's always going to work. It's always going to work. Okay, a lot of people don't even count shit, and they start some diet and like, oh, I'm eating 5,000 calories on this diet. Some of these idiots on like a meat-only diet, they weren't counting shit before. If they actually strictly would have counted shit before, which they weren't because they're just eating like pigs, and they counted exactly what they're eating now, if they were eating the same calorie count on whatever they were eating before as they are on tomahawks, they'd be getting the same damn weight loss result. Okay, the same result. Okay, it's always the calorie count. Always. Okay, if you feel like you have more energy in a certain macro split, then do whatever you want. But that can vary. That can vary. Maybe one day you're like, okay, I feel like I want to eat some more meat protein. Then you do. But the other stuff's got to come down if one goes up. The other stuff's got to come down. Now, if you have way more energy on a macro split that maybe is low fat, some lean meat, low protein, high carb, and now you got the motivation to go roast 500 calories exercising that you wouldn't normally do on another macro split, then obviously you can get away with an extra 500 calories of the food. Because you're doing more on that macro split if it's working for you to give you more incentive to go exercise. There's never any magic. It always works. Okay, eat less, move more, works every time. Eat less means less calories in. Move more means more calories out. Okay, the macros may affect how many calories out you're willing to burn. That is it. Okay, for example, let's say somebody's doing strict low-carb keto, and they're eating 2,000 calories on that diet, and the other guy, their twin brother, is eating 2,000 calories. Let's say there's quadruplets. So you got the one brother's on carnivore and 2,000 calories. Another brother's on McDonald's on 2,000 calories. Another brother's on a strict low fat, very low protein, vegan diet on 2,000 calories. Another brother's just eating 30-30 macro split. The one that's on the low carb, that guy might naturally want to not do as much exercise. He might not have the energy. So now his calories out is less than his brother that's eating the McDonald's. So then the brother on the McDonald's ends up losing more weight because he's burning more calories. But maybe the brother on the McDonald's doesn't even have as much energy as maybe the high carb, low fat, low protein vegan has even more energy yet. So then they're losing even more weight. Okay, but that obviously you need to hit a minimum on the protein or you'll hit a wall. Now there's other goals involved. Holding on to muscle mass if that's a goal. That's where the macros, a caveat of the macros would matter. But how much protein do you really need? Don't even think about it. Okay, don't even think about the protein. Just eat. Just hit the calorie count and let your body dictate the protein intake. Just don't get in that mindset where you're trying to hit zero protein on a low-fat, crazy low-protein vegan diet. Okay, get rid of that stupid dogma and let your body decide. It's always going to be move more, eat less, you fat pig. Always. Always. So if you have a macro split that's literally slowing you down and not making you want to move as much, you're not going to lose much weight, even though the calories was the exact same going in. See, that's the caveat. The calories out can change. See, that's why you'll notice a lot of people, they'll obviously have to use stimulants because let's say they're intermittent fasting. Okay, they're intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, there's no magic at all. At all. It's still the same bullshit. Calories in, calories out. But, like I said before, what if you have somebody that's eating that has some self-control with portions, and he's eating 3 meals a day? Let's say it's a woman. She's eating 3 meals a day at 500 calorie a pop. And then you got another woman that's fasting all day, eating 1,500 on 1 meal a day diet. And maybe you have another one that's fasting all day but drinks some black coffee on a 1,500 calorie 1 meal a day diet at night. The girl that's not drinking the coffee on the 1 meal a day, all of them are on 1,500. The one that's not drinking the coffee, she's dragging ass all day and eating the 1,500, which at night again. So because now you're not doing any activity after that food, the calories out is less. And you drug ass all day. Now you get the woman on the 1 cup of black coffee. Now she's burning equivalent to the person that might even be eating the breakfasts, which we'll get into that one. So you got the black coffee drinker. She's eating a meal a day. She's cutting weight on that. And that's working well. Okay, and let's say her weight loss is matching the other girl that's eating 3 squares at 500 calories a day. Okay, but the other girl, the reason she's putting out more energy during the day because she's eating breakfast and lunch and taking in a smaller dinner. But mainly she got energy because she's actually eating earlier in the day. Now let's say those 2 women are both losing weight, exact same clip. Okay, they're twin sisters. They're triplets. But eventually, maybe the woman on the coffee starts to suffer on sleep. And then that starts to affect her calories out. Now the woman that might have been eating the 3 squares is surpassing that woman in weight loss. Because that woman eating the 3 squares is sleeping better. Because the other one was using the stimulants for too long. That's how this shit works. All right? The calories in. If you're sitting on your ass, equal activity. Holding, maybe somebody wants to even exercise. Let's just pretend that you didn't let them. The calories in, no matter what the damn food choices are, with that caveat of protein being at least a minimum so you're not losing muscle, no matter what the food choices are, if you didn't let the people do any activity, the weight loss, if the calories in was low enough, would be identical. Identical. Now, there is a caveat on the other end with the weight gain, a state of weight gain. You're either in a state of weight loss, a state of maintenance, or a state of weight gain. Now, in a state of weight gain, there's going to be some macros. That's where the macros will matter, when you're actually in a surplus. Now, if you're in a surplus on a clean diet, like let's say your bodybuilding split diet is like chicken breast and rice and broccoli, you're not going to develop a bunch of insulin resistance on that, because even in the surplus. But if you're in a surplus on a diet that's super high in fat and calories are the same, so let's say 5,000 calories now, everybody's going to be in a surplus at 5 grand. Okay, so you have 3 brothers and a triplets again. All of them are eating in a surplus, 5,000 calories. All of them are eating, so whatever weight they're gaining on that much food. If you have one of them that's eating really dirty, and then you have one of them eating like chicken breast and rice, and then you have another one eating maybe a low-fat fruit diet, saying the minimum protein's being met, the one that's eating the really dirty diet, the really high-fat diet, that guy could develop some serious insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, where the other 2 guys that are bulking clean won't develop any real problems. Don't get me wrong. You start gaining weight too quick on clean food, you can get type 2 diabetes, you fat pig. But it'll be a lot slower process to screw your body up on a bulk, especially if you're losing the weight or gaining the weight slowly, which would obviously be just a bit of a surplus on a clean, low-fat diet. Okay, that's going to be the main difference. But if you're eating 5,000 calories of ice cream, those macros, in a state of weight loss, eating that ice cream is going to be fine. You take a type 2 diabetic that's 400 pounds and you put him on an ice cream diet and he's a guy, you put him on an ice cream diet at 1,800 calories, that guy's going to reverse type 2 diabetes eating ice cream. Straight up. Straight up. Okay, but you put a guy on a bulking diet on 5,000 calories of ice cream, and you got another guy that's bulking on clean food, fruit, vegetables, starch, clean, low-fat, lean protein. I guarantee you the guy that's bulking on the dirty food, because of that, now it is a problem. Now it is dirty. Okay, when you're in a state of weight gain, that's when certain things are going to get really bad, get multiplied. But when you're in a state of weight loss, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference what you eat. Not a bit, not a bit. And you want to talk about micronutrients, you fat pigs? Micronutrients, do you know how much more efficient and bioavailable micronutrients become when you're in a state of weight loss? Like, how much micronutrients do you think a 70-pound woman coming out of a Nazi death camp is going to absorb compared to a woman that weighs 500 pounds? All of them? She ain't going to be getting rid of any of it. Her body's going to be a sponge. But the woman weighing 500 pounds, she's going to be dumping tons of micros out in her bowel movements. It's not the same. The state is not the same. Okay, that's why if you have a woman that's literally 70 pounds, so she's underweight drastically, okay, and she's eating what you think's unhealthy, the high-calorie foods are going to help her. Like giving her chocolate bars would be good. It's not going to make her health get worse. It's going to make her get strong. Okay, she's not going to have a blood sugar problem when she's underweight, even eating foods that are dirty as hell like ice cream. When the person's in the surplus, it changes. Now let's go back that way. So you got a woman that's 70 pounds, and you're giving her ice cream and cheeseburgers. And she's happy. She's got some strength. She's building some muscle. She's gaining weight. Now she's 80 pounds, 90 pounds, 100 pounds. Then let's say this woman's like 5'3". Now she gets to a spot where she's like, let's say she gets up to 140 pounds. And if you were actually checking her blood sugar and biomarkers, there's going to be a place where she was eating the same damn food, the same calorie count, because she would have been eating in a surplus at 70 pounds to gain weight. If she keeps gaining weight past, say, 140 pounds, her health will go to shit. Same food. Okay, ice cream and cheeseburgers. See the difference? When she was skinny as a rail, the ice cream and cheeseburgers weren't having an effect on any of it. Okay, she wasn't getting insulin resistant. There's no underweight person on the planet that's insulin resistant. Never. Okay, but when you're on the other side of the line, when you're in a surplus, you're overweight. All of a sudden now certain macro splits are bad. Now a calorie surplus is really bad. But when you're in a state of weight loss, if you take a fat pig and you throw them on a diet that is complete what you think is unhealthy, that food all of a sudden becomes healthy when they're losing weight on it. Now another caveat, obviously it's going to be harder to eat lower calories on the high caloric foods. It's going to be harder to lose weight eating ice cream and eating only 1,500 calories than it is to eat fruit and vegetables and lean meat. Okay, that's why doing a low-fat diet, low carb, all the bullshit diets are just a tactic to drop the calories down. They're just a tactic to drop the calories down. There's no magic. Okay, like I mentioned in that last video I made, or a couple videos ago, how all these carnivore zealots, they don't even want to bring up calories, but really I've seen all those jokers, all those joker cult leaders recommend 2 pounds of meat a day, and if it's 2 pounds of ribeye, you're looking at 2,600 calories. Okay, how convenient to say calories don't matter, but then recommend 2 pounds of ribeye steak. Who's not going to lose weight on 2,600 calories if they're way overweight? Everybody is. Everybody is on a diet that sucks. A diet that's so restrictive with shitty adherence, it sucks. I would take losing weight on 2,600 calories of McDonald's any day of the week. I would take 2,600 calories if my body was in a deficit, if I was a guy that was 6 feet tall, 300 pounds. I would take eating McDonald's cheeseburgers over ribeye steak any day of the week for adherence. Any day of the week. Okay, because you're not going to be starving the guy you're not going to be starving the guy to death from carbs. Okay, that's it. Okay, 2,600 is 2,600. Okay, and not to mention the protein count's going to be stupid overkill on the meat diet. When the protein count can be rock bottom. You know how much protein I'm eating right now? If I took the average on the week, I'm at about 100 grams a day. 100 measly grams. And what's that allow me to do? It allows me to crank up the carbs. Now, if there's a day that I feel like I need more meat, then I'll just eat more meat and I'll bring one of the other macros down. Okay, I'll just bring the macro down because I got to hit the calorie count. The only thing that matters is the damn calorie count. You need to put in some homework and figure it out. What is your maintenance calorie count? If you're a super fat pig, obviously it's stupid high. So you just pick a number that is normal. Like if you're a male and you're way, way out of the realm of even being close to a proper body weight. So basically anybody that's like 250 pounds or over, just start with 2,500 calories. Just start there. That's a normal amount of food for a good sized guy. Just start with 2,500. Don't worry about the damn macros. Okay, this isn't if it fits your macros. It's just stick to that calorie count and ride it. Ride 2,500. If you're a morbid obese woman, okay, if you're a morbid obese woman that's like pretty big, like 5'9" to 6 feet tall, okay, start at 2,000. Ride it. Ride it. But you need to count it accurately. Every single food you put in your mouth, you should not be guessing on the numbers. It should be very easily measurable, or the number is right on the label. And that's where, again, sometimes when you try to eat too clean, it's hard to measure it. Because you guys don't want to pull out the weight scale. Okay, it's a lot easier to measure stuff that you can just put in a cup, like blueberries. You can put them in a cup, or fruit. It's like a cup. Okay, even a piece of fruit like a nectarine, 60 calories, you know, if you're out by 5, whatever. Always veer to the low side. Okay, you start there. You average size woman that got like 20 to 50 pounds to dump or 100 pounds. Start at 1,500. Ride it. Ride it. And then if you stall for like a week, not just a day, because things are going to happen. Even if you're at a caloric deficit and you're losing body fat, if you're on your rag, the weight might swing. Ride that calorie count until it stalls city for a few days, a week, and then drop it by 100 calories. This shit's so simple. You're just going to track shit. It's the same with everything. Okay? How do you think guys get strong as hell lifting weights? Just winging it or tracking their progress? Okay? Like when I was competing in powerlifting, it was strict programming. Strict. Okay? You didn't veer off of it. It's the same as this. Just that you're a lazy fat peg and you don't want to track shit. So you look for some magic diet that doesn't exist. There's no magic. Okay, fasting's not magic. Okay, it just puts you in a zero calorie count. Okay, daily fasting could actually, it'll work for some, but it can make some develop bad eating issues. Okay, bad eating habits. In my opinion, optimally in time, you want to get to where you're eating a normal looking portion, like your regular looking diet. 2 to 3 meals a day. If you want to do a little fast in the morning, fine. But you should still get to a place where the portions aren't retarded large. Like a good portion of food would be like 800 to 1,000 calories tops. Okay, that's going to make it more easily to sustain a proper calorie count. Because, even eating one meal a day, some people develop binge eating problems with that protocol. I'll still use it with lots of people. But some people start binge eating because they're like, I'm eating a meal a day, that's magic. And then they'll start eating just a pile of calories in that sitting. They'll start having like a whole thing of Ben and Jerry's with their meal. Next thing you know, they're over. And you only got to be over by 200 or 300 calories to start to basically be in a state of weight gain, and that's when all your health problems come back too, plus start gaining weight. Even if the numbers on the labels are give or take out by a certain percentage, it doesn't matter, because if you're consistent and you're using the scale to weigh yourself every day to dial the calories, and how do you think you do this? Okay? The calorie counting and the scale go hand in hand. You must be weighing yourself. Because how are you going to adjust the calories? So you got to count the calories as accurately as you can. Start at a starting point that's reasonable, and then use the scale to adjust. Okay, a lot of idiots are like, I tried to do calories, I tried to count calories, didn't work for me. What didn't work for you? What? What didn't work? Okay, you weren't counting them accurately, you idiot. You're too caught up in the number of calories, and you're not going with the trend. Because I know there's stupid dummies that'll be like, oh, I'm in a deficit. I'm in a deficit of 2,500 or 3,500 a week, and I'm not losing weight. Well, you're not in a deficit, you stupid idiot. You're not in a deficit. Okay, don't just, when you use those calorie calculators to figure out a starting point, it's not gospel, you idiot. It's not gospel. The trend is what matters. The trend. Okay, so if let's say you're a woman, and let's say you think your maintenance is let's say 2,000 a day. You think it's 2,000. So then, and it's really 1,500. So then you've been eating 2,000 calories every day for a week, and really your maintenance is 1,500, and you're gaining weight, and you don't even know it, but you're 3,500 calories over, idiot. Because your maintenance was nowhere near 2,000, you stupid dummy. It was 1,500 or less. I see this so often with these morons. They're not counting the calories accurate at all, and then they're like just making this assumption that they're eating in a deficit, and obviously you know the scale's not dropping, you're not in a deficit, you stupid idiot. If the scale's not dropping, you're not in a deficit. I don't care what you think your maintenance calories is. Obviously, it's not that. Obviously, it's not what you think it is it? You're just assuming, my maintenance is 1,500. And then you're not losing any weight, and then you're trying to see calories counting didn't work. Either you're not counting the calories or shit, you're not using the scale feedback, and your maintenance wasn't 1,500. It was like 1,300. And now you're out by that 200 calories for a week. Okay, that's 1,400 calories. That's a whole nother day's worth of food that you ate. That's why you didn't lose any weight, you stupid retard. It works every time if you do it properly. If you just don't do it, it doesn't work. Okay, that's who it doesn't work for. People just don't do it. Okay, it would work perfect for all the carnivore zealots, all the carnivore dieters that I actually feel bad for. Okay, because they just got bought into all these jackass cult leaders, and they're in Stall City. You count the calories, you stupid ribeye idiot. If you're not losing weight on your 2 pounds a day at 2,600 calories, then you knock it back to 1.5 pounds, you stupid idiot. This shit is so simple. Calories, 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 calories. Like it triggers people even saying calories. It always works. Always. You get a person on the phone with me, and I break their whole damn day down. When they tell me the calorie count didn't work for them, I'll see exactly where it didn't work in about 2 seconds. They're full of shit. They're full of shit. Okay, it doesn't matter what diet you're on. If you're not losing weight, you gotta knock the food back. And how are you gonna knock the food back with accuracy if you're not counting it? You can't. You can't. How are you going to do it with, maybe you knock the food back from the prior day, but that's where you start really yo-yoing your calorie count. You don't know what you're doing because you're not tracking shit. So the day before, the scale took a big jump because you ate way too much. Then the next day, you eat way too little. Now you're dragging ass. And that's what happens. It ends up doing that because you're not tracking shit. You want that calorie count. If you're logging how many calories did I eat every day this week, you want that line to be very flat, very constant and flat. Then you're on track. Using that line with the scale feedback, you'll be able to dial it in perfect. Perfect. Okay, you'll know and understand if you're a fat pig, you lose more weight, you lose, your BMR is going to drop. So naturally, your resting calorie count's going to drop. So you're going to have to be adjusting as you go. You're going to have to recalculate using a new BMR. If you, for example, let's say you got a guy that's 300 pounds and he's losing weight on 3,000 calorie a day. He probably will. He's eating 3,000 calorie a day, and then he's at 300 pounds, gets down to 250. All of a sudden, he's stalling. Well, obviously, why? It's because that calorie count now that you were losing weight at 3,000 or at 300 pounds isn't low enough anymore. So you stall, so you knock it down to 2,800. Maybe take a 200 calorie drop. And 200 calories is a large amount. That's like a meal for some of you little women, for crying out loud. People just sneeze on that much food. It's like, they don't even think that that's a big deal. 400 calories is a meal. Okay, and that's where you're completely screwing it up because you're out of whack by way more than that. 400 calories is a bag of frozen mangoes. That's a pile of food. But you're just sneezing on it because you're such a pig that 400 calories is nothing to you because you're eating 40,000 calories, you fat ass pig. Okay, that's the biggest problem. That's why when people are like, I'm eating between 1,800 and 2,500 calories a day, that is useless information. What is it? 1,800 or 2,500 or 2,300 or what? That's the difference from gaining weight and being a state of weight gain where you're developing type 2 diabetes for some people to getting ripped. But you just sneeze on that 700 calorie swing. And that's literally a whole meal. That's a whole nother double quarter pounder McDonald's, you idiots. Okay, you got to pay attention to detail. Lazy, lazy fat bastards. Don't want to pay attention to shit. Details. That's why I say when you're starting out, don't worry about the damn macros. You just eat to where you feel good. Whatever works. You might feel great if you polish a meal off with a chocolate bar, as long as it fits the calorie count, not if it fits your macros. That's probably the biggest thing that people screw up with counting calories. They go all gung-ho, so now they're worried about the calories, the fat grams, the carb grams, the protein grams, when really, if they just focused on the calorie count and just let the other stuff be more intuitive, they would be losing weight like crazy. But when you're trying to hit, say, 2,000 calories a day, and you're worried about the protein being 1 gram per pound of lean body weight, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Because as soon as the protein's way up, then the other, something's got to give. Okay? The fat can come. We know this. We know this from talking about the high-carb sugar diet, low-fat, high-carb, that the fat can be low. But again, when you get low on, if you go really low on certain things, like protein and fat, the carb's got to be up. You can't be running a big deficit or you're going to run into the wall. Okay, how do you think some of these high-carb vegans can get away with such low protein and fat counts? Because they're eating a ton of calories, but they would be gaining weight on that, but they're biking all day. That's how they can get away with it, because the calorie count, they're forcing such a high calorie count, still burning it off. So if your calories come way down, and you're also low on those other 2 macros, like way down there, I've seen this. Women running into a wall because they're on a diet that's super low fat, fairly low protein, also too low on the calories, too big of a deficit. Because that's where you got to ride your maintenance. You got to ride just under your maintenance. Okay, that's how you run that diet. That's why I keep saying once you're lean, it's easy to sustain it. Cutting's different. Okay, once you're already lean, it's a joke because you can always just run maintenance. But when you're losing weight, especially when you're getting leaner, okay, now a super fat pig could run a vegan diet with like no protein, straight fruit, and probably not even run into any issues for a while because they're just so fat. Okay? Fat people can't get malnourished. They're fat ass. We know this from fasting for 30 days in a row. Why is it all of a sudden this big deal about micronutrients when we're talking about cutting on junk food, and no one mentions that you aren't eating nothing for 30 days, some of you fat pigs, and you actually improve your health? Okay, that's where people get so misguided. They completely lose the plot. Okay, there's caveats to this shit. But as far as the calories in goes, assuming the activity level is the same, even though one person might have more energy to do more activity, and in reality, in a real world situation, that person would do more activity. But if you held them back and you made all 3 people do the exact same amount of activity on every macro split you can think of, clean food, junk food, if they're fat, if they're a fat ass and they're eating the same calories in with the equal amount of output on the whatever macro split you want to pop out of your ass, they're going to get the same weight loss result. Where they'll run into problems is once they all start getting lean, if the macros are really bad, a really bad macro split, example like 0 protein, is going to cause problems. Okay, it's going to cause problems. 0 fat will cause problems. Okay, especially if the calories are still at too big of a deficit. You can go crazy low on the fat. Crazy low on the fat as long as the carbs are as long as your total calories are still close to maintenance. We're talking a tiny deficit of like maybe 100 calories. But if you start running a big deficit on a diet that's crazy low fat, you're going to run into hormone problems for sure. If you're running a huge deficit on a diet that's crazy low protein, you're going to run into muscle loss problems for sure. But if you look at people that are maintaining on a diet that's low protein, low fat, the calories are still good. They're still high enough that they have enough energy and they can put the intensity in, and they're smart. So if we're talking the vegans, or if we're talking like not even vegans, just Somebody, it's like people that are eating just low protein, even if there's some meat there, low fat. If their training intensity is high and they're lifting weights, that will hold muscle better than anything. Okay, a lot of the vegans you see that get like crazy malnourished, they're running too low a calorie count, they're not eating enough carbs, and they don't do any resistance training. Okay, so that's those ones. The ones that are smart, I've seen guys that are running low protein, like around 70 grams. Fat was around 60, and a pile of carbs, and their total calorie count was 3,000. And they were ripped. Like the one guy I seen was 6'1", like 170 pounds. Okay, he doesn't do that much cardio either. Just walks, but mostly does weight training, body weight resistance training. On like a pretty much, well, basically an upper-lower split, which frequency-wise on the movements would be the same as when I was talking about 2-day-a-week full body. Okay, that holds muscle. So there's that. See, that's where the macros can get you. Okay, if you're too low on the protein, but the protein can be very low, but I'm talking lower than low. Again, if you're a fat ass, it wouldn't even matter. The macros can be like all over the place. It wouldn't even matter if you're a fat ass. That's only going to matter when you start getting lean. Which none of you are there. Okay, or you wouldn't be watching this shit. It's always the calories in, the calories always going to be how much you're eating versus how much you're moving. It's no more complicated than that. Okay, there is just those caveats, and they really only apply to people that are getting quite lean. Fat asses, it won't make a damn bit of difference. Okay, and obviously there's the caveats to the other way where you're underweight and you're gaining weight, and when you get to a threshold where you start getting, your weight gets to a point. It's almost like you're filling your car with gas. And when the gas starts spilling over, that's when the health issues start. Which could be at probably a weight that you're going to be 20 pounds overweight. Something like, who knows, something like that. Like you take that 70-pound woman that come out of the Nazi concentration camp and you're feeding her ice cream. She's feeling good. She's feeling good. And she's gaining weight. She's feeling good, looking good. And then all of a sudden she starts getting fluffy at, say, 140 pounds. That's when you'll see the blood sugar numbers and the liver enzymes and that all that shit that comes with just being a fat ass go to shit. But as long as you're in a state of weight loss and you're eating less than you're burning and you're a fat ass, it won't make a damn bit of difference what you're eating. A damn bit. Another caveat, however, if you're allergic to certain things, you're not going to be able to eat them, let's say. Maybe if certain food gives you some sort of an issue, like a skin problem or something. Obviously, then that's on you. You figure it out. Okay, figure out what reacts. Maybe some reacts bad. But I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of people that are fat asses with skin problems. If they just ate, so they're in a state of weight loss, so a deficit, which they don't know because they don't even know their maintenance or anything, a lot of those skin problems would clear up if they're eating, again, McDonald's cheeseburgers. Weight loss when you're fat is the number one goal. That's the number one thing that's going to create better health, is just losing weight. Starving, bitch. Okay, starving when you're not really starving because you're still a fat ass. You're only starving when your weight is when you're getting below a weight that is like your homeostasis perfect weight. Okay, that's real starving. You don't even know what that feels like, you idiots. You don't even have a clue what it feels like to starve. Okay, you're nowhere near there. That was just like that one 600-pound life blooper where now Zarden, that one fat pig was in there, and they're like, and they want to put him on a 1,200-calorie diet because that works. Like 1,200 calories, you're gonna lose weight. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're eating cheeseburgers. 1,200 calories, you're gonna lose weight and get healthy. Like it's the being a fat pig that made you unhealthy. But anyway, the fat pig's like, oh, won't I get malnourished? And now Zarden's like, yeah, you're gonna get malnourished, you fat pig. 600 pounds. You ain't getting malnourished, nothing. You're never going to run into any of these problems until you're ripped. Okay, never. None of it. None of it. None. Okay, even scurvy and shit. I don't even think you can get scurvy until you're literally underweight. You ever notice that the people that develop scurvy out at sea, they're starving to death? Okay, when's the last time you seen a fat pig be like, I got scurvy? Doesn't happen. Okay, because our bodies can live up pure body fat in that environment if we were starving to death. We wouldn't eat anything. How many times do we have to prove that? Like that one fat pig went for a year with no food, basically. Barbieri. I've had people that follow me go 30 days in a fat ass with no food. No vitamin C, no nothing. Okay, even B12. For all you vegan haters, see, you can learn a lot from some of these people that are dieting like this. You can learn way more from smart vegan dieters than you will from these carnivore zealots. I'll tell you that right now. Because they're way closer to a proper diet. All you got to do is add in 2-3 cans of sardines into their diet. It's perfect. Okay, that's what most of the people on the planet are eating. Something that looks like that. I've talked about this before. Low fat, lean, some lean protein, and a bunch of carbohydrate. The B12 I was getting at. The B12, you know how long it takes your liver to dump all the B12? That's why you'll see some of the vegans will hit a wall way down the road. If you were just getting a little bit of meat, you'd be good. But even then, a fat pig, you think you're going to have a B12 issue? Hell no. Fat people don't need to eat. Always go back to that when you're questioning this bullshit. Fat pigs do not need anything at all. At all. Haven't we proved that for the last 8 years of my stupid bullshit social media, YouTube channel, weight loss shit? Everybody else's bullshit? Have we proved it? Haven't enough people starved for days on end, including myself, to tell you that a fat pig doesn't need a damn calorie? Always go back to that before you run your stupid mouth about what's healthy and what isn't. So they can go days with no calories, and you're trying to tell me that if somebody was eating even if they were eating a whole container of Ben & Jerry's, which is what, 800 or 1,000 cal? One of those a night? So they're eating 1,000 calorie a night, and they're a guy that's 6 feet tall, 300 pounds. You think their health isn't going to improve on that? You're stupid if you think it isn't. You're an idiot. They're running a crazy deficit. I don't give a shit if it's Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It's going to be healthier and less aggressive than doing that fast for 30 days. Eating a thing of Ben & Jerry's. That fast is more aggressive, and you're still getting micronutrients from the Ben & Jerry's. If you're worried about your micros. That's how stupid this shit is. And then on that other extreme end, when you got the person that's actually starving to death, that weighs 60 pounds, what are you going to try? What are you going to bring him back to health with broccoli? What are you going to bring him back to health with salad and vegetables and fruit? If you got a stack of cheeseburgers and chocolate bars sitting there, you're an idiot. Of course you're going to give them the high calorie shit. And it's not going to make their blood sugars bad at all. Because they're just going to soak it up because they're morbidly underweight. It's stupid dogmatic shit that I hear all the time. Okay, I talk about the sugar diet and sugar. Who gives a shit? Okay, what do you think is going to be the best thing to give somebody that is 70 pounds underweight? Do you think sugar's going to hurt them? Or give them crazy energy so they can get their life back in 2 seconds? Okay, it matters if you're fat or not. It matters if you're in a state of weight loss or a state of weight gain. Meaning if you're in a deficit or a surplus. Okay, are you fat and in a deficit? Are you a fat person that's in a state of weight loss versus a fat person in a state of weight gain? Are you a skinny person that's underweight in a state of weight loss? Obviously, that's not good. What's going to be better there? If you're a skinny person, like a woman that's 70, 80 pounds, you don't want to be in a state of weight loss there, do you? Okay, and it's, like your markers won't get worse when you're literally 30 pounds underweight if you eat Ben and Jerry's and peanut butter sandwiches. Like people, this is where people are so stupid. Okay, stupid shit. Stupid shit. That's why I keep telling everybody, only thing that matters when you're trying to cut weight is that calorie count. That's it. If you feel shitty on your food choices and you're hitting your calories and you feel like, okay, I might want something else, then eat something different. This is how you're going to get excellent results in adherence, is just intuitively eat the food choices, just hit your calories. Because I'll tell you right now, there's going to be people that will do a lot better job cutting on what you think is junk food. Because they can track it so tight and it's just in their nature. They can cut really good eating junk. It's not junk no more because you're losing weight on it. Because the weight loss is the healthy thing. Okay, there's going to be people that'll do better cutting on some sort of a fast food joint where they can count it exact, throwing in some micronutrient dense foods in there. Okay, like one day, and that's the thing, just because you have some junk in your diet doesn't mean you gotta just like lose it. One day I ate a half of a bin of spinach. You know those bins of spinach? In this day, I ate a double quarter pounder with cheese that day. I ate a Snickers bar that day. That was part of my 2,000 calories that day. I ate a bag of mangoes that day. I ate 2 cans of sardines that day. I ate a half of a bin of spinach that day. So there was like a bunch of nutritious shit there with some micros. Okay, what you wouldn't even need when you're a fat pig, but I'm not a fat pig. And there was some, what you would call junk. But because I was in a state of weight loss, because I'm at 2,000 calories, when my maintenance, at this point, my maintenance is like 2,600. Okay? It doesn't matter, idiot. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Not a damn bit. The intermittent daily fasting doesn't make a damn bit of difference. And in fact, you can make an argument that once you get better with portion control, you will actually lose more weight on the same calories eating breakfast. Breakfast is always the most important meal of the day. I'm not saying that it's going to be the best way for you to lose weight. If it's screwing you up and making you go over on your calories, then knock out breakfast. But if you can eat 3 squares a day and you have way more energy starting your day off if you have a breakfast, you're going to have more calories out then, and you're going to lose more weight than the guy that ate the same amount of calories as you did, but he packed it all in at dinner. Because you did more. You had more energy. This is why coffee and intermittent fasting always goes hand in hand. Okay, because without the coffee, and this is another thing even with coffee, usually coffee is a sign that you're eating dog shit macros. Like, not saying it's fine if you're drinking coffee and eating macros that you normally, if you didn't have that morning coffee, you would have hardly any energy on. And I'm talking fasted. It's because if you eat certain macros on a 1 meal a day diet at night, you'd have a lot of energy the next morning without the coffee. And I'm talking low fat, high carb. If you eat something that's the macros aren't, let's say, perfect, optimal at that night, and it makes it so you don't have a lot of energy the next morning, coffee works fine. As long as you can run that deficit, that's who cares. But if you're eating in a way that's giving you less energy, same calorie count, and you're not drinking the coffee, let's say, then the calories out's going to be higher on the other macro split. And you'll figure it out. It's your body. Like, and not everybody's day is going to look the same. Okay, some people are just going to, like, you want to move and exercise. If you're not doing resistance training, you're an idiot. Okay, I'm going to tell you straight up. For the amount of bang for your buck, return on investment, longevity, everything, if you're not doing some simple, at least body weight resistance training, you're a You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Okay, you just don't care about your health. You're just looking for the complete lazy ass shortcut. But if you weren't doing any exercise at all, sitting around all day, it won't matter what your macro split is because you don't even plan on doing any exercise anyway. Okay, obviously some people, now that's where, if you're doing crazy amounts of cardio, which you're not doing crazy amounts of cardio or else you wouldn't be a fat pig in the first place. Nobody that does a pile of cardio is a morbid obese pig, all right? Nobody. I'm not talking just couple sessions of cardio a week. I'm talking daily cardio. Yeah, I'm talking a job where you're working. Okay, really working. Okay, this is the truth. This is anybody that shits on calories is an idiot. It's because they're trying to sell their shit, their bullshit. Okay, they're trying to sell their bullshit. Okay, fasting, prolonged fasting is straight up a calorie game. Okay, you're not eating nothing. Okay, that's why it works. That's why it works. Okay, and there's guys out there that just keep bringing this up because they're catering to you lazy fat asses to try to convince you that it's okay if you don't count anything. Calorie counting is so much more than just it. When you start counting calories, it sets you up to actually know what's in front of you, you fat ass pig. If you counted the calories for 30 days, it's not just, even if you had a couple days where they didn't get counted, you'll know, okay, you have no clue how much food you're eating. Doing this makes you actually portion control. Okay, there's so much more to it. Okay, it's not just about counting the food or arguing about the accuracy. It's about the serving size and seeing what you're putting in your body. Okay, you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. Okay, and because you don't have a clue, some of you women that follow a zero carb carnivore diet are literally copying what the men are eating. Because you're that stupid. You're like, oh, this jackass is eating 3 pounds of ribeye a day. And then you're doing it. Because you don't count shit. If I told you that 3 pounds of ribeye was 3,900 calories, would you be eating 3 pounds of ribeye? Obviously not. Because you'll get fat as hell on that. Because you're not 6'7", 270 pounds. It's the same with a lot of the high carb vegans. Okay, some of them that pound starch. Okay, you're going to lose, it's always the calories. But in general, obviously the fruit is going to be lower in calories than the starches. So a lot of guys, and I seen this, they'll shit on, say, the low-fat, high-carb vegan that's still fat. Some of them still got weight on them. They've lost weight, but they can't break a plateau. It's because, again, they're trying to dodge the calorie count. So they're eating just too much rice. There's only a couple really dieting strategies that you can cheat the calories on. Only a couple. One of them is fruit only, wet fruit only. I guarantee you if you didn't count anything, you're going to go under on the calories. Calories are still there just because you're not counting them, you idiot. Calories are still there. Just because you aren't counting them, they're still there in your ribeye steak, idiot. They're still there in your fruit and rice, everything. But if there's one diet that will actually get you skinny, it's going to be eating wet fruit. Wet fruit meaning not dried fruit, you idiot. It's going to be water and fiber and sugar. But what's the trade-off there? The protein's rock bottom. There's no protein at all in that diet. For a super fat ass, could they run that diet for a while? Sure. But you start getting under where your happy body weight is on that, then you start running into muscle loss problems. Now you go on a low carb, a low fat, high carb diet, and you start taking advice from some of them people, just eat, and you're pounding all that starch, all that rice. It's not like that's 0 calories. Okay, you're not biking 50 miles a day like some of them. Okay, you're gonna plateau. Now that's clean though. Will that reverse insulin resistance? Yeah. That's the difference, because having no fat in that matters when you're in a state of weight gain. Okay, when you're in a state of weight gain. When you're in a state of weight loss, the macros don't mean shit. Okay, you're going to reverse insulin resistance on whatever macros you want as long as you're cutting weight, as long as you're in a state of weight loss. But that's why I've seen people, that's why people end up bad-mouthing these other diets, because no one's counting anything. Because you'll have some fruit-based vegan that's like skinny as a rail, and then you're like, well, why isn't this other girl getting the same result or this other guy? It's because they're smashing back way too much starch with not nearly enough exercise. One of the guys that is actually a barefoot runner, this guy runs crazy amount of mileage, and he like literally lives on potatoes, and he's ripped. Okay, but he's running stupid mileage. Okay, you get somebody that's still sedentary, and on that diet you have energy. At that point, that's just you being straight lazy. You're not even zonked out from having a bad macro split and a surplus. A bad macro split and a surplus. Okay, take note what I just said there. There is no bad macro split when you're in a deficit. So, for example, a bad macro split, let's talk the double quarter pounders with cheese, because that's like my favorite McDonald's burger. If you're eating those in a surplus, it's gonna zonk you out. But if you have that double quarter pounder with cheese, just one of them, and you're nice and empty, one double quarter pounder with cheese for me. That ain't zonking me out. I could smash that burger and go straight to the gym and light it up. Because the volume matters of the food, the caloric volume. And like I said in a million videos before, volume matters. That was all just tactics to get you fat pigs to drop the calories. When after a while, I'm like, hell with this shit. Just drop the calories. Focus on the exact issue instead of beating around the damn bush. Because telling people what to eat, I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm not giving any dietary tips. If you come to me for like coaching behind the scenes, we can talk. But there's no point in telling anybody to eat anything. Because the only thing that stands true and is always going to be, you can always trust it across the board, is the calorie count. You can trust it across the board. It doesn't matter what diet it is. But as soon as I'm like, oh, eat more vegetables because the calories are lower for volume, then you get these jackasses over here like vegetables will kill you or some stupid shit. Because they're idiots. Okay, or it's like, eat more fruit for volume. Oh, sugar will kill you. And then you got, oh, eat more protein for volume. Oh, protein's going to destroy your kidneys, or, you know what, too much protein beats you up. There's no doubt about that. We were never meant to eat like just stupid amounts of protein, especially in a dense window. Like say pounds of protein in like an hour. That's the worst thing. Okay, that definitely puts stress on your kidneys. There's no doubt about it. How do I know? Because I experiment with piss. That's how. And you can taste it. You can taste the issue. It's like, holy shit. It's like I just ate like 2 pounds of meat, and that's what that tastes like now? That can't be good. That's how I know. One diet, I'll tell you right now, one diet, if you're talking about UT, a diet that feels like through the, can't even say it, through the UT, the one diet that tastes very healthy is low protein, low fat, high carb. Like, obviously. Okay, because we run on, like, the body still run on sugar. High carb ain't going to make your piss taste like shit. Okay, low fat, you know, you're not going to get the cloudiness. You're going to, that diet, and that's actually funny because it's interesting how some of them vegans end up doing a bunch of UT and almost use that as feedback to dial in the diet, but they end up develop orthorexia, some of them, because they get so paranoid about certain things. But you can really taste what diet's healthy and which one isn't. Okay, you start to taste like crazy amounts of urea, your protein is retardedly high. Okay, and trust me, okay, I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but I'm sure not the weakest. And I eat way less protein than almost anybody that's even close to as strong as I am that I see on YouTube. Okay, way less. And what's that allow me to do? Crank the carbs up. Still, I keep the fat fixed. My fat right now, average, is probably, like, again, I ain't counting the macros. I just go by feel, so it swings around each day, whatever I want. I eat whatever I want. I just make sure my calorie count right now my calorie count. I'm doing a bit of reverse dieting now. Okay, I'm just holding like 175. I want to hold that number perfect and focus more on the weights right now. But basically, I'm right floating around 2,500, right there. See what that does with the scale. Okay, but my macros right now, like my diet's pretty clean most of the time. Okay, I'll have the odd day where it's like I'll hit that macro split, and the protein will be pretty low, the fat will be higher than normal, the carbs might be low. Maybe go and have some cheeseburgers, but I'll hit not the macro split, I'll hit the calorie count. Don't give a rat's ass about the macro split. I don't give a rat's ass about that macro split. As long as I'm eating some lean meat in there or some meat, I don't give a shit about that macro split. One thing I have done as of yesterday, because I was eating not OMAD per se, but I was eating like a couple meals in a window, like more like a late lunch and a dinner. And I was doing a cup of black coffee at McDonald's, a large cup of black coffee. And I was training, all that training I did on that video yesterday was fasted, by the way. Okay, you just wait till I start pounding that sugar in before those workouts, you fat pig. Wait till I start pounding that sugar and actually start getting strong again. I'm not even strong yet. I haven't lifted weights for 4 months. Okay, so now I'm doing 3 squares. Like, not every day is going to be the same. I've done 3 squares the last couple days. I always try to go back to a 3-square diet. Pretty clean, fairly low fat, sardines, clean meat, high carb, 3 squares, no gimmicks. Okay, my protein's about 100 grams. Okay, calories, like I said, I'm trying to reverse diet. My goal is to see how high I can get in the calories without bouncing over about 177. Okay, I want to reverse diet and get my calories up without gaining weight. That's a process. Okay, you creep the calories up, body reacts, and you creep them up until you tap out. And hopefully I get up to where I'm close to 3,000, between 27 and 3,000, without getting over about 178 pounds. Then you're in a good spot. Then you're in a good spot again. Metabolism's full tilt. Then you can even bring the calories down again. Slow as hell. And you can build muscle on a cut if it's slow enough. It's going to be like almost like your body doesn't even know you're doing a cut. Like that slow. Like 50, 100, so slow that you're losing like a pound every 2 weeks. Okay, but you fat asses, you can lose weight way faster than that, obviously, right? Like you guys, some of you fat asses, your BMR alone. Your BMR is 2,800 calories. Your BMR, 3,000, like some of you fat pigs, like that are like 400 pounds or higher. Your BMR, that's your resting burn. That's with no exercise. That's when you're not even standing up. That's insane. My BMR is like 1,600 right now. 1,600 and change. So when I'm eating 25, that means that I'm doing another 900 calories of movement and exercise every day throughout the whole day. It adds up to about that. Calories. Okay, to start, count foods that are accurate to count. It's that simple. Don't worry if people are telling you, oh, that's junk food. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Whatever works for you. If you want to count clean food, count clean food. If you can run a deficit on junk, eat junk. It's fine. It's not junk when you're losing weight. If you're worried about micros, throw in some micronutrient food in there. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, the number you start at, you don't want to go too low. That's where people make that mistake. If you're a big fat woman, start at 2,000. Just start there, okay, and ride that wave. See where that takes you. Okay, if you're not losing weight on 2,000, trust me, you'll be losing weight on 2,000 if you're a fat ass, big ass woman. Okay, just ride it. Okay, let the diet go in the back of your mind where you're like forgetting about it almost. You just need to hit your 2,000. Don't go under deliberately. If you just happen to go under one day and you know that you're only at 1,800, fine. But don't do it deliberately. Don't force it. Smaller women, 1,500 is a good starting point. 1,500. Okay? Women that are like maybe 5'4", that only have like 20 pounds to lose, maybe start at the 1,200. 1,200, but if you notice you're dropping weight really quick the first 2-3 days, bump it up right away to 13. And then if you're still losing weight pretty quick, 14. Don't ride that too long if you know that it just feels way light on food. If you want to throw a long snake juice fast in, specifically the super fatties, go ahead. They're at 0 calories. Okay, then you know what you're going back to. Go back to that same calorie count. Okay, man. Average man. Okay, anybody that's, say, between 5'5" and 6 feet. 5'5" is a little short. If you're my size, I'm 5'7" on the money. 2,000, start with 2,000. Okay, who cares if you even end up at a surplus slightly at the start if you screw up? Maybe you're like 5'5". Little fucking pudgy fucker. Hopefully it doesn't zap this whole video because I just slipped that up. You're a fat little butterball and you're like 250 at 5'5" or something. Okay, start at 2,000, but you never know, like, you understand you're a small guy, you might get down as low as 1,700, 1,600 is your maintenance. Like, you know, like, you're small. Okay, if you're a big dude, big guy, start at 2,500. Okay, if you're a guy that's like the edge of the bell curve, like 6'5", like 300-400 pounds, start at 3,000. Nobody needs to go over 3,000. Nobody needs to go over 3,000 calories a day if you're a fat ass. Okay, that's the cap for everybody. And I know there's women that are eating more than that, you fat bitch. Okay, nobody needs to go over 3,000 starting point. Nobody. Okay, nobody. Okay, and if I have to go on a limb and say women, no woman needs to go over 2,000 starting point. No woman. Those are going to be athletic women out there that are burning 2,000 a day. Yeah, but that ain't you. And you're trying to lose weight. Okay, you don't need to go over $2,000, you fat pig. You don't. 2,000, that was what I was cutting on, you fat ass pig. Okay, you're a woman, you ain't eating more than me. You ain't eating more than me if you're a fat pig. Okay, if you're a woman that's maybe doing a stupid amount of cardio and you're an Olympic level swimmer, maybe you'd be eating more than I am. All right. Okay, $3,000 men, $2,000 women's the top end cap. Top end cap. Okay, I got some donations. They changed this thing. Well, there we go. Okay. Bawa Moment donated me $2. Says the fat you eat is the fat you wear. Not necessarily. Okay, what was this whole video about? If you're in a deficit, okay, if you're running a deficit, if you're in a state of weight loss and you're drinking oil and it's putting you in a state of weight loss, you ain't wearing any fat, obviously, because you're losing weight. Okay, you're losing weight. If you're losing weight on a ketogenic diet, obviously the fat you eat isn't the fat you're wearing. All right? But now, that being said, this is what I said. If you're in a surplus, this is where if you're in a dirty surplus versus clean food, I would say that's a true statement. So if you're eating 5,000 calories and it's heavy in fat, so you're eating, just your basic dirty shit, ice cream, whatever, but you're in a state of weight gain versus eating a diet that has 0 fat, or very low fat, lean protein and straight carbs, you're definitely going to gain more weight. Okay, that's where shit changes because you literally get so insulin resistant. Okay, they'd have to do some actual literature on that. But that's why dirty bulking is actually retarded. Okay, and that's exactly why when I was dirty bulking last winter, I was holding about 198 pounds for weeks, and then boom, one day I just started going up, eating the same food. That wouldn't have happened if I was eating chicken, breast, and rice, or if I was eating lean meat and fruit low fat. That would not have happened. That insulin resistance made me start gaining a pile of body fat. But could I reverse in 2 seconds? Yeah, I put myself in a state of weight loss. So make sure you got to understand the different scenarios. That's why, end of the day, when you're in a state of weight loss, the macros don't mean shit. The calories in doesn't mean shit other than if you feel like you have more energy on a certain macro split and it's making you do more activity, so your calories out's going up, that's going to create more weight loss because you're moving more because that macro split made you feel better that day, which could change from day to day. YouTube, Google, donating me $2 says, long dry fasting with oil or tiny bits of sugar. No, if you're going to do a dry fast, do a damn dry fast. Sir Yeetus donated me $5, says, not only I lost 60 pounds in 1 year, 226 pounds to 166. Awesome work. I reversed my diabetes thanks to Snake Diet. Cole knows what he's talking about. Thank you very much. Awesome job. Awesome job. And obviously the long fasts aren't going nowhere, you fat pigs. What do people keep saying? Like, oh, we're not fasting anymore. What are you talking about? Okay, all this stuff started with a 72-hour fast on Snake Juice right off the bat to get some motivation. Okay, especially if you're dealing with blood sugar problems, you can solve some serious problems. Get yourself off blood pressure meds, off metformin and shit within like 72 hours. As long as when you jump into your diet, you're at a state of weight loss, so the calories are low enough. So you're actually losing weight. It wouldn't matter if you jump into whatever macro split. The calories are what matters. The calories. The calories are what matters with the prolonged fasting. The calories are what matters when you're eating. The calories is all that matters. The calories via what you're eating and how much you're burning. That's it. In a state of weight gain, like I said, it will matter what the macros are. Like if you ate straight fruit and you tried to gain weight on 5,000 calories of fruit, it takes a stupid amount of energy to turn that sugar into fat. So where's the energy go? Your body runs hot. Where if you ate 5,000 calories of like some dirty looking diet, that fat will blunt out your body's ability to take up those carbs. Your body's going to be running colder. That's the difference. Your VO2 max will be higher. So even though you're at a state of weight gain, calories are the same. That's where it matters. When you're in a surplus is when you can argue about what's healthier and what isn't. When you're in a surplus. When you're in a deficit, it don't matter shit. It doesn't matter shit. Until you get really lean, then you do have to hit your micronutrients. So you're going to run into problems. And you do have to hit a minimum on the protein, or you're going to run into problems. And you do have to hit a very minimum on the fat, assuming you're not at a huge deficit. You won't run into much problems on the fat as long as you're not at too big of a deficit, you're not losing weight too quick. It's when you're in a state of weight gain that you can debate all you want about what's healthier. Which, who gives a shit? Because we're in a state of weight loss on this YouTube channel. Well, that's where you should be in. Anyway, a state of weight loss. On High MS donated me $1. Thanks. Bell Moment donated me $5. Says, do alcohol calories count? Of course they count. Okay, alcohol basically turns into sugar. Liver has turned into sugar and you burn it. It's the same thing. It's calories. Okay? Empty calories, when people say that just means the calories don't have any micronutrients. It's still energy. Still energy. That's why there's a guy that went 40 days for Lent on 4 to 6 beer a day. Did he need a bunch of micronutrients? Obviously not. His blood, all his markers were better and he lost 40 pounds on beer. The problem with alcohol is when it's drank in too tight of a window, that's when it'll overburden your liver. Okay, it's like when you drink 6 beer in 5 minutes, let's say. Because you can only digest like about an ounce of alcohol every hour. So do alcohol calories count? Yes. I'm 6'3", 310 pounds and only eat OMAD, but still fat. But I do get hammered once a week around 2,000 calories of vodka. Well, see, if you just got rid of the food on the day you got pissed drunk, obviously it's not healthy. Okay, you're going to screw with testosterone in the short term. It's going to be crazy hard in your liver. Okay, you're going to cause a shitload of dehydration. But if you drank 2,000 calories of vodka and that was all you had that day, 2,000 calories, you'll cut body fat on that bottle of vodka, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Okay, I'm not promoting you to be trying to lose weight on a deficit drinking straight alcohol. But what I'm telling you is that if you know your numbers, you can get ripped, even drinking booze. I know a guy. This guy actually, other than he smokes like a chimney and drinks way too much booze, this guy is lean as hell. He's 50 years old and he looks like he's like 38 or even younger, to be honest. And he literally drinks vodka, water all the time. But when he eats during the day, he eats light. He works hard. He basically pulls motors out of shit. He works for an electrical company. And he does a lot of motor work, refurbishing motors. And he's busy on his feet all day. Okay, he just burns it off. Just burns it off. The guy will probably outlive everybody. Okay, he's like 6'2", like lean as hell. He's like 155 pounds. Okay, like, because he's eating in a deficit. Or he's not eating in a deficit. When your weight's not moving, you're eating at maintenance. But what I'm saying is calorie count is always holding. It's not eating in a surplus. It doesn't matter if he's drinking the booze. It's the same. Okay, because he's not going over on the calories. Abri Boosin donated me $5. Thank you very much. Betty Balboa says, thanks for all you do, Cole. Your videos and live streams have helped me stay on track and taught me so much. Thanks for the donations. Bowel Movement donated Bowel Moment donated me $2. Says, do vodka calories count? Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm beating this one because yes, it gets turned into sugar. All right, it gets turned into sugar. So like I said, if you're drinking a pile of booze, people are like, oh, get some food in you. Well, if you're going to get food in you, make sure it's low calorie food, right? Like drink the booze with a lot of water. Obviously that's a bad habit. You shouldn't be drinking 2,000 calories worth of whiskey. And you wouldn't even need near as much booze if you didn't eat nothing. Fast all day and then drink a Mickey, a straight vodka at night, you'd be hammered on like next to nothing. Because you didn't eat shit. Next day you'll wake up, you're dehydrated, plus you burn a pile of body fat. Your metabolism was revved up all night from all the alcohol. So you probably lose a pound of body fat. Okay, we're going to kill some people with some booze fasting. Moses Ifran donated me $6. Says, other than weight logging, what other consistency tips would give? Main hurdle is building consistency. Counting the calories, weight logging. Two main things for the weight loss aspect. The other thing is going to be your activity. Okay, if you want to try to if you want to count steps, at least counting steps keeps you moving because most people aren't counting their standing time. Okay, calories, weight logging, choose foods you can count. Okay, other things, if you're having consistency problems, that's where a 1 meal a day diet or some intermittent fasting could help some people. Some people, like I said, the energy level, you skip breakfast, there's a cost. There's a cost to skipping a meal in the morning. There's a cost. Okay, if you're using caffeine to cancel that cost out somewhat, fine. But if that starts screwing your sleep up, then there's that issue. Martin Communications donated me $2. Says, hey, Cole, do steam rooms work instead of sauna? Yeah. So I use the hot tub and the steam room, and I would use a dry sauna if I had one. The goal is with the heat is the duration. You want a long duration in the heat so you sweat and you keep sweating. If it's too intense, you'll have to get out because your head gets too hot. You're going to burn more body fat if you can grind it out. Hot tub is nasty. If you can do 90 minutes in a hot tub, like you're going to be burning a crazy amount of calories in 90 minutes, but it gets very hard. Okay? And don't kill yourself in the hot tub. Okay? You see some fighters screw it up or they're way low on salt, they have a seizure and almost chew their tongue off. If you're doing the steam room and your head's getting hot, the way I like to do the steam room is I go in there for 10 minutes, in the water for 5. 10, 5, 10, 5. I'll do that like 10 times there for 2.5 hours doing that. Okay, my goal is optimally, if I had a scale right at the pool I go to have a goal of water weight that would have dumped. And when I hit a certain amount of water weight that I've dumped, that's when it's time to go home. Because I know, okay, if I dump this much water, I burn like a crazy amount of calories doing that. Okay, which for me, a big water swing's 10 pounds. Bowel Moment donated me $5, says, I will rephrase, the fat you're wearing is the fat you ate because carbs and protein don't easily turn to fat. It's a troll statement. Obviously, it's the calories over maintenance you ate is the fat you're wearing, okay? The calories for a prolonged period of time over what your maintenance was, which you don't even know. Okay, let's just say the gods know that your maintenance was 2,500, you've been eating 3,500 forever. That's 1,000 calories every single day over your maintenance for God knows how long. Mind you, your maintenance will go up because the fatter you get, the maintenance goes up, but it's not going to. That's why certain people will get so fat and it'll stop sooner or later. To get morbid fat, you literally have to pretty much bring the activity to zero. Well, to get morbid fat, you have to bring the activity damn near to zero and be eating. Usually those people that keep getting fatter and fatter, it's not that they're eating way in a surplus anymore. Because once you're 300-400 pounds, you got to really put the food back to even be in a surplus. Because like your maintenance is like $3,000. So what they're doing, you got to literally sit. And the funny thing is, the only way you can get that much food is by sitting. Because fat people only eat when they're sitting. The more you sit, that's what they're doing. They're sitting first, then eating. If they're out in the world doing something, they wouldn't even be eating. You wouldn't even never get that much food in. It's the only way you can get that fat is sitting. And eating while you're sitting and usually watching TV or pissing around on the internet. Usually all internet. Bell Moment donated me another $5. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the help. Which MLB game should I bet on to win back my super chats? I'm lonely. Thanks for talking to me. I don't know much about the baseball teams. Okay, that's a good point. If you're fat ass and you're lonely, get out. Okay, I'm just talking about going to the swimming pool. Get out. Go to the pool. Okay, don't be scared of your fat gut. Go there shirtless. It'll kick you in the nuts. Okay, it'll make you want to lose weight. You should have seen this winter when I was like around 20, I peaked at 207. Okay, at 207, I'm getting pretty butterball. I'm at the pool and shit. Some people know who I am. It's like, oh, I thought this guy's supposed to be a weight loss coach, and I'm like 207 pounds. Okay, I'm not wearing it. Like, there's guys that wear shirts and shit to cover their gut up, right? You know, like shit. It motivates you. Get out in the world. Live your life. Don't just sit there and eat. T donated me $2, says 5'3", 250 pounds, want to fast but bad cravings. Start counting the calories. See, again, when you just counting the calories slows you down for that second. So you don't just go have a blowout. The beauty about counting calories too. Let's say you haven't ate nothing all day and you're like, and you know your numbers, okay? You're a fat pig, you're a woman, and you're trying to hold 1,500 cal, let's say. And you're like, go and you get a chocolate bar. Let's say that chocolate bar is like 300 calories. A lot of times if you weren't counting shit, that now you just wrote the day off, that's when you just go in blowout mode because you had a chocolate bar because you're too caught up in the food. Who gives a shit what you eat to lose the weight? So you had this one chocolate bar And now, because you're not counting anything, you just go on blowout mode. You go on full tilt. Where really, when you're counting the calories, if you're counting the calories like I'm telling you, you'd be like, oh, I'm still good. I haven't ruined my day yet. I'm only eating 300. I'm only 300 deep. I got 1,200 more I can eat. And I can still lose weight eating a chocolate bar. That's why. That's one of the most important reasons why calorie count kicks the shit out of everything. Right there. Okay, you know how many people on a stupid ass carnivore diet literally will say they'll eat a chocolate bar. So they're like, they wreck their diet because it's the food dogma bullshit. They're too caught up in what they're eating. So they'll have a chocolate bar and now they'll just have a complete blowout when really the chocolate bar is only 300 calories. Okay, if you want to stick to your carnivore dogma, you're only 300 deep. Okay, have half of that ribeye instead of the whole thing now and you'll still be in a deficit, you idiot. Like, calories are king. You'll never get around it, ever. But the thing is, it allows you, it's like, geez, I didn't have a blowout. Because you're counting. So all of a sudden when you eat some junk, it's not like you didn't mess up yet. Because you got to get out of your head that stupid food doesn't mean shit. You didn't mess up. Okay, you ate some ice cream, but you counted it. You haven't messed up yet. You haven't messed up the day yet, you idiot. Okay, you had a chocolate bar. You haven't messed up yet. And that's what you idiots do, you fat pigs. You're so caught up in thinking certain foods are bad that when you do eat them, what you will, you just throw away everything. When if you were counting your calories, you'd be proud because you'd have that chocolate bar and then you actually end up going to bed at a deficit. Because you have the chocolate bar. Shit, you have 2 chocolate bars. You have 2 chocolate bars. That's why calorie counting kicks the shit out of. Well, it's truth. It's truth. You'll never get around the calories. Okay, diet this, diet that, this food, that food, blah, 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 doesn't mean shit. If you're in a state of weight loss, the only thing that matters is that damn calorie count. And what it's going to do is it's going to make you feel like you didn't fail. Okay, if you stop counting the calories now, you failed. But you're not going to have to feel guilty about eating a chocolate bar. That's why this will get you places. It trains you to eat normal. Because you know what? Eating a chocolate bar once in a while is normal, you idiot. You know what's not normal? Eating meat only. Okay? Eating some ice cream once in a while is normal, you idiot. And if you count it enough times, you're going to naturally portion it. Because people will be like, well, counting calories isn't normal. Well, the thing is, when you count the calories, what becomes normal is you looking at what's on the plate and knowing what's there. That's what calorie counting does. Nothing else does that. With a variety of foods. Okay, with a variety of foods where, let's say you're on your stupid ribeye steak diet. And normally you're losing weight on, let's say you're eating 2 pounds and you're losing weight. But then you plateau. Well, you're so dogmatic to calories that you don't even think that, maybe it's the calories. And you don't think that, geez, I could just yank back. You'd have to, this is how stupid people are. They could just yank back half of one of those steaks and then they'd be losing weight again. Even though they technically didn't count the calories. The calories are still there. They just knocked the calories down by eating less steak. But that's the only way they could see it because it has to be the same food. That's how they could see it. But when you actually count the calories, you don't have to worry about seeing exactly to take this much meat away because you can eat all sorts of varieties of food as long as you're counting the calories. Okay, you're not going to be restricted with some dumbass diet where you can't eat this, can't eat that. Counting calories it actually brings you back to nature. Okay, that's where you're so screwed up. Okay, you don't have any idea what you're putting in your body. You have no clue. You have no clue. You have no clue how much food you're eating. You have no clue about the calorie count. You start doing that, you're going to go places. Man, I've been on here way too long. Didn't even look at that. Project Pan Pugs donated me $5. Says, struggling to eat less than 2,000 calories when I like weightlifting 3 times a week. Now, how do I do this, he meant. Well, first off, are you cutting on 2,000? Because if you're cutting quick on 2,000, bump it up to 2,200. How big are you? Okay, 2,000 is a good amount of food. Okay, if you're struggling to only eat 2,000, that's when you take a look at your food choices. Okay, that's when, okay, I could swap this out. Maybe I'm eating 2 chocolate bars right now. Maybe I should just do 1 chocolate bar, and then maybe instead of a chocolate bar, have a bag of fruit that's the same amount of calories. Okay, that's where you add some volume. Are you drinking your gallon of water a day, you fat ass pig? Minimum. Minimum. Okay, all this works. Okay, if there's a certain diet that you can hold a calorie count on easier, then do it. I'm just saying that there's people that could easily hold a calorie count on stuff that's way more calorically dense. Okay, if you got to eat a diet that's lower in fat just to keep the calories down, and that feels good, and lean meat and a bunch of fruit to hit 2,000, go ahead. The only thing that matters is the calories. The only thing that matters is the damn calories. If you want to eat a carnivore diet, if you want to eat a meat-only diet, strict keto, and you're counting the calories, go ahead. But now you don't need to do it. Now, if you just got to understand, like, there's a place for that stuff. Usually it's for a skin problem or something else. Okay? Because a lot of people, what do you think? Like, let's get real. Most people are eating those diets to try to lose weight. So if you can lose weight eating a normal looking diet, why would you bother screwing around with that shit? It's so restrictive, there's no adherence. Okay? Counting the calories, learning portions, learning what you can get away with, that's adherence. That gets you out of the dieting culture. That's why it's funny how counting calories, ever notice that there's no word diet at the end of it? Because it works for everybody, if you do it. Okay, everything else has to be like this diet or that diet. Snake diet. Okay, why do you think I call it the snake diet? Because it trolls everybody. As soon as you put diet at the end of something, it's like, oh, the new greatest and latest diet. When the calories will stand true till the day you die. Okay, diets come, diets go. Calories don't go nowhere. And if you're not counting them, doesn't mean they ain't there, you fat pig. Watching this, donate me $2 says, how do I achieve that hairline? Mine? Shave your head. Bowel Movement, donate me $20. Great live stream. You the man. Thank you very much. I'm going to wrap this up. Until next time, count the calories and log your weight, you fat ass pig. Stop worrying about the stupid food choices. The food doesn't mean shit.